Well, I think what we aimed to do today was to arm people with a strategy that they could begin to think about their spaces. We've asked them to put aside the fact that they have a new building for the moment and start to think about what learning experiences they want people to have, and then fit those into the building.
You're really, you're going way beyond your own practice too, aren't you? You're thinking, what are the possibilities? And I think that's one of the good things that came from the workshop, is that we put down a series of questions that were really challenging them in terms of what are the possibilities. And a lot of schools around the state have got these brand new buildings with nothing in them. So, what do? Either you default to the existing conditions that you have on the rest of the school, which may be good, may be bad, but at least now I hope that they're asking the questions.
Yes, and it would be a missed opportunity to transfer a lot of existing practice into new buildings, because it enables a lot more. You're not confined in a lot of these instances to classrooms for 25 students and one teacher.
In an ideal world, the relationship between the built form and the interior design would be seamless. We wouldn't see that distinction being made. But because of the nature of the way that the building development has happened, that separation is implicit in these buildings.
Historically, schools have opened the catalogue and said we'll have one of those, and one of those, and that'll do. But there is potential for it to be much, much richer than that.
Well, I think that's absolutely right, and I think that's one of the great things that came out of this workshop. I think people now have a way to at least think about it. They have a few questions that they can ask. Hopefully it's empowered those people who have attended to get to that stage, I guess. As simple as that.
If we start with the experience of learning, which is where we started today, interrogate that with a series of questions and think from the inside out, that seems to be a way to get the environments that we're after.
But I think that starting with the experience makes a connection between education and design.
That's right.
And I think if we did nothing else today, we made that connection very well and very clear.
What we see behind us, I think, is a great result of just the breadth of thinking, and how how many settings you can come up. There are things here that I think I never would have foreseen as coming out on the table. It's fantastic to see it.
Personalisation has led to thinking about education in a way that probably hasn't been thought about since about the 1970s. And I guess the open plan school idea is similar to talking about a neighbourhood, but I think it's much more refined in the new thinking.
I think one of the great outputs is just the demonstration of those collaborative spaces, and not one of the outputs is remotely related to a standard classroom. Not one.
None of these represent a standard classroom. No.
Nor the standard relationships or learning experiences of a regular classroom.
No, that's right. I think people are much less worried about maintaining order, because they're recognising that students, they're recognising the talents of students, and having a greater belief in the ability of students to pursue learning, not purely through their own means, but in a much more self-directed manner.